Hello, hello, welcome. So, I've been wanting to make this video a little bit sooner than this, but this is the day I'm doing it. Right in this 91 degree weather, oh boy. So if it sounds like there's a fan going on in the background, that's why. I'm not wearing my headphones this time. I just want to not overheat or anything. So we're going back to the old setup for this. But yeah, uh, so Lawl Mad is doing its empty slot right now. It just actually finished up its empty slot voting, so now we're just kind of in the waiting period for whatever the results are going to be revealed. And this empty slot has been very exciting for me for a lot of reasons. I just really wanted to talk about it. I feel like it just deserved its own video because it's just a very special occasion for me. And you might be asking, well, what makes this like empty slot different from other laws? Also, you might be watching and saying, what is an empty slot? I've never really I'm new to the community. I don't really know what this process, how this works. So, an empty slot is generally for Law is just like whenever after a law has kind of been going on for a while, a creator will often open up voting for a specific character, and usually they have their own interests and such. But an empty slot is like the perfect chance for people to suggest characters to the creator that are might fit the roster's theming, or just suggest interests. It's because the law community has always been about sharing ideas and characters and interests and such. So an empty slot is just a great way of just fleshing it out further. But it's also a chance for the creator to kind of get out of their comfort zone and test themselves out with a character they haven't thought of before. And I think these are probably some of the most exciting times in the LoL community is whenever empty slots are going on, because it's just everyone kind of comes together and generates all these ideas of the time, maybe some things that people just been wanting to see for a while that finally get a push. Or just a really silly idea just kind of takes off and sweeps the community by storm. They're just very great overall. And I think Lawl Mad is in the perfect sweet spot for a empty slot right now. This is just the perfect time for it. Because Lawl Mad is just kind of now getting started. When I say that, I talked about in the tier list video how even though it's kind of been around for a while, it's only really just not picking up steam, and the quality has just kind of skyrocketed so hard within the last couple of movesets. And we're finally at the point now where most of the roster, the original roster, has kind of been done. We have literally just 2 characters left after Kanata. And they're the more niche characters, or characters that I don't think I see too many people talking about. At least I personally don't know them. But they're still very interesting. So this is the perfect time. Why don't we just throw a whole bunch of new faces in there and see what works? This is just the perfect time for it. Just to spice up the roster, give people something to look forward to in the future, along with the next 2 characters that still have yet to be done. But also it's just it's in a different spot, I think, compared to other empty slots, because Lawl Beatdown is doing its own empty slot, and it's kind of. We're waiting to see the results for that as well. But whereas Law Beatdown they're doing their second empty slot. They've already done one. And while I think it's exciting, I don't really think it's matching up to Law Mad specifically for a couple reasons. So for Law Beatdown specifically, because it already had an empty slot, we kind of already have a vibe of okay, what do people like to vote for this roster specifically, and what do people like to see and want to see. And whenever we get to the second empty slot, a lot of those kind of same feelings carry over. We kind of know what to expect at that point. We kind of have an idea. Who did make it in the first time? Who probably deserves to be here with everyone else. It's not that crazy. Lawl Mad is different in that because this selection of characters is just so varied, and it's just the very first of its kind in a roster that is already very varied, it just makes it even more exciting. I'll actually even go as far as to say I don't think any of the characters that were picked up for this empty slot are bad at all. I think they're all amazing. Just looking at the characters that are in remake here for the collage and Kanata's moveset, look at all these characters. we have like a perfect selection here. We have live action characters like Steve from Blue's Clues, Bob Ross. We have Jack Torrance, Billy Harrington, Ray William Johnson. We have Tom fucking Cruise. And then we have like animated characters, not just like anime, but just like animated in general. We have the King of the Hill guy. I forget his name off the top of my head right now. A couple anime characters, Dr. Rabbit, and then like Corona, who's a VTuber, but it still counts. And then we have Asuka, from a more anime inspired thing. And then we have video game characters. You know, Sonic, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Blah, blah. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic. And then we have Trombone. Like, and then we have going on and Silver from Sonic 06. Like, this is just perfect. This is such a wonderful selection of just like video games, like film, movies, TV shows. Like, this is just perfect. Like, there's something anyone would want to see in here. Like, I don't think anyone can look at this empty slide like, I'm not very interested in this. All of these characters are great for one reason or another. And we also have characters here that, you know, have been in a roster before that maybe people want to see another shot at, like Robbie Rodden and Mr. Bean and Michael Rosen and other characters. Like, this is like, people want to see things here. This is just like the perfect time for it, because Law Mad, it also has a very wide variety of like characters. You have like meme characters like Gay Luigi and Hotel Mario. He is a meme character, but he's also like played very seriously. So then you also have like a more off-brand characters like Linkara and Sabrina Online, and then you have like weird characters like Van Darkholm. It's just like, this roster can do a wide variety of stuff very well, which makes an empty slot even more exciting, because, you know, any of these characters could be done fantastically. And this makes me so excited, so excited for this. I think the one big thing I also am very excited about for this empty slot as a whole is because it's in this spot where it's the perfect timing for new characters. All the characters are great. I think an empty slot, one of the big roles an empty slot should be is, whenever you want to make sure you do it in an empty slot, not too early, not too late. You want to do it like once you've established yourself and you're ready to like get super creative with what you can do and you feel confident, and you want to use it as a chance to iron out your roster's identity. And what I mean by that? Well, you generally, like, after a roster has been around for a while, you kind of get a feel what this creator likes and what they're willing to experiment with. And that kind of just becomes, you know, the Law's theme. Like, I want to make a video about that in general at some point, but it's kind of a hard thing to talk about. Is you can kind of just look at a Law and get an idea of, you know, what's the theme of this Law? What can I expect from it? What would be cool? And an empty slot is great, and then you can like throw a character at the creator that maybe they're not expecting, but they wind up really liking, and it ends up becoming a big fan favorite within that roster. And then it's okay, that character is now like very emblematic of the Law as a whole. It's a very big accomplishment. And that could be like any of these characters. Any of these characters could be that new big star of Law Mat. It's just very exciting. I just really want to know, like, when, hopefully soon, but I'm not impatient or anything. I'm just excited. Again, this is a very exciting empty slot. I think we haven't really had a empty slot like this in a while. And yeah, I am personally more excited for this empty slot than the second Law Beatdown empty slot. There's just like so many good options here. I'm very excited. And I guess, like, real quick, I'll bring up my personal predictions. Not predictions per se, but like what I'm kind of expecting as a whole from this roster. I think, again, like, almost all these characters are pretty great. I put a lot down in like super unlikely, but it doesn't mean they can't happen. I just personally think that it's just very, very unlikely and impossible. But it could happen. It could happen. Generally, anyone in Most Wanted, obviously, they're my personal favorites that I think would probably fit the Law incredibly well. Dale Gribble, that's his name. Dale Gribble, that's the King of the Hill guy. I don't know what it is about Dale Gribble. I just look at him and I think, like, you know, that would be really funny to see him interacting with someone like Squidward. I don't know what it is. Like, I can see it and it just works to me. And Shinji, I, I don't like Shinji and Asuka kind of go hand in hand. Like they just like just because of the culture, like they've that Evangelion has kind of established for itself, not just in like a pop culture, but just in memes. Like they are very lol characters inherently that you could do them any particular way, and I would like to see them. And this lol has just had that kind of vibe where like I could see someone handling them well. Nagito, I don't really think I need to explain why Nagito needs to be in Law mad. It's like he's a little mad guy, you know. And then Xavier Renegade Angel also kind of goes without saying. He's just a kind of weird and strange character that I think also fits Law mad as well. And anyone I could see him then winning is just like similarly like characters I don't think are as strong. Or they're, I mean I think they're very strong, but they're not my personal picks to win. I know Gandhi is very popular in general. I don't know if that's enough to make him win. I could see it. Maybe. It's possible. I don't know, though, because I'm not very informed on like him. Asuka could get in over Shinji, and I wouldn't be surprised, but it also depends on, who do people want to see more. I personally just want to see Shinji because he's kind of funny and pathetic. Lord Farquaad and Robbie Ryan kind of go hand in hand. They're very big memes, but they're also popular enough that and they are deserving of movesets. I think Robbie Rodden is definitely like overdue for another moveset handled by somebody. Germa is just like I feel like Germa has a very high possibility of winning just because how popular he is in general. He kind of has exploded over the last couple of years. I've noticed he's kind of always been popular, but especially lately, it feels like people really want to see him in something. So, and personally, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins at all. Austin Powers is just like Austin. He just has such a giant meme factor, but he's also like very recognizable that no one's really like thinking about him until he's like one of those characters like where you see them on an empty slot and you're like, oh my god, that's amazing. Why didn't I think of that? And you vote for it because it's funny. He's one of those like dark horse characters in a contest. I don't know if that's the term. Like if they just pop up and like, oh shit, that's cool, and you vote for them. Like I could see him winning. His possibility I think is definitely lower compared to these other characters, but it's there. And then anyone who I think is in like if there was a push, I could see it. I think their chances are a little bit lower. But like it's definitely there because I've seen talk of them in the community a lot, or they have existed in the community in some form. Or they are just very good ideas that I could also see them winning. Again, it's kind of like the Austin Powers situation. Like there's a lot of live action characters here, and that's generally where live action characters come in. Like they could be great, they could be funny, but you have to like get a lot of people to be passionate about the idea to want to vote for it. So who knows? You might be surprised Steve is this low. I think people generally like are more curious about Steve winning than anyone else. I think the biggest thing with me is I don't know if Steve totally fits Law Mad's vibe, and that I don't know if this is his roster specifically. That's the thing that's kind of tearing me up about it. Like I think the wide variety of characters works because him interacting with Van Tarkle would be very funny, but I don't know if that's what we can realistically expect. Eustace and Captain Hook I could also see happening because they're very iconic. But again, there's just so many other bigger characters here that I could see winning over them. Same with Terry Crews and Zone 10. It's just up in the air. Blurry Window of Opportunity. This is generally like characters that were previously planned for a law before or were in an older law but haven't really happened again. That's from Kokichi Oma all the way up to Gaven. I think all of these characters, it's kind of like I could see maybe if people were interested in seeing them finally get tackled again or at all. It's possible. But I think generally because they have already kind of happened, people would rather just see a new character rather than see something else right now. Like this. And then so up to the moral oral guy. All four of these characters are in a weird spot where I think like again, it's up in the air whether or not like this was the perfect time for them to get added or not. Because there are characters with empty slots where there's a meme of the time or something popular within that time frame that could get the push it needs to get added to a Lawl, and it will miss that window forever. So was popular in Your Turn to Die for a long time, but when the empty slot happened, I think Your Turn to Die was finally like petering out in terms of popularity. It still can come back. It's not finished. It's literally doing its final stuff, but it's still like it's kind of calmed down now. So he's probably not winning realistically. He's definitely has a much harder chance than anyone else here. But I know a lot of people definitely would want to see him. Whitey, again, meme of the time. It's possible. Like, if people really were committed to Whitey, he could be the bad movie character of this law. I don't think anyone would complain. I don't know, though. It's possible. I think it would be funny if both Adam Sandler and Whitey got into this law. And then we had a Toon Adam Sandler skin for him. That would be kind of funny, but I don't think so. Denji, again, Chainsaw Man was very popular at the time. I don't know if this is the time for it, though. I don't know if the fans are also very popular in the LOL community. Or not popular. I don't know if like there's enough fans of the source in the LOL community that want to push for it. That's the problem with anime in general in LOL, is that like most anime fans aren't in LOL to begin with. So you don't have as like any of those big pushes for those characters. And the more oral, I generally don't know. I think this guy, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I think his chances are also very high just because I see videos about it all the time in the last couple years. I don't know if it just had a resurgence lately or what in my YouTube recommendations, but I've just been seeing people talk about it everywhere. So I'm guessing it must have had some kind of resurgence. I could see it happening. I don't know if, again, there's enough fans of it, though. And then anyone in the question mark tier, I'm just generally not enough informed on like their current popularity as a whole, or you know how popular are they? Not just in general, but also in the LOL community. Because again, you have to keep in mind like these characters might be popular to you or in the general community, but in the LOL community, it's very different how many people want to like actually see something come to life. You know, it's up in the air. It could happen. It could not happen. I would like to see, I forget her name, I think it's Miyuki? Yeah. I think after the Konami moveset, I was definitely endeared to the idea of seeing her. I wouldn't mind if the Lucky Star got a second rep. I wouldn't mind that at all. LawMat doesn't really have any double reps within the source right now, outside of like Gay Luigi and Hotel Mario, but that's kind of like, okay, that makes sense. I wouldn't mind if Lucky Star got that opportunity as well. I would have said Coraline would go higher than like, it's like maybe blurry window of opportunity because she's very popular, and just recently announced it's getting like a HD remake. It's not a remake or anything, but it's just getting like upscale and stuff and all that higher quality. But that happens after the empty slot was closed, so I don't know what'll happen with that. And then also there's just some meme characters in here I just don't think are as popular. And I also don't know if, like, this is a Simpsons law. I don't know. Then there's also some weird live-action characters who I'm not very well informed on them. I don't know if they could go in. I don't know if they could or not. Meme, I just generally think they're memes. They're the wild cards. It just depends on if they stack up enough votes to get high enough. I have my personal predictions on if any of these characters would get in at all, but I'm not sharing them personally because I don't really know. They're memes at the end of the day. They're weird characters. You just kind of have to wait until results come out to see how well they actually did to judge them. And then Grim, Mandy, and Billy, I think they're just in a tough spot. I think they were kind of screwed by being all together as one. And that's why I just put them in muddled. I saw a lot of people commenting, oh no, why wasn't it just like Grim? And then why wasn't it just Billy or Mandy or just Billy and Mandy and no Grim? I think that definitely ruined their chances hard. That people would rather see them by themselves than as like a double or a trio. And then anyone in Super Unlikely, again, I just don't see any of these characters winning because they're just like, too niche. Or not specifically to this LOL, not very popular. Or I just think, people aren't as interested in seeing or they're just completely beat out by everyone else up here, which I think is just, again, because there are just so many characters, good characters, I think the competition is very fierce. Like Kevin's a funny idea. I like the idea of just a moveset for Kevin. We got Rolf already. But I think we can agree Kevin is not winning against any of these people up here. I don't think that's happening. And then, I think they all have moveset potential, though. Again, like, it's totally possible. If someone wanted to do them, I could see someone picking up a character from this empty slot and then going with them in their own wall. But yeah. That's my current thoughts right now on the Lawman empty slot. I'm very excited. I don't know whenever we'll get more information. But I am so hype. I can't wait. But yeah, that's it for now. I think I've said everything I need to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah. You all have a wonderful day. Stay hydrated. Bye-bye.